Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Welcome to Roughly Estimated, where recently we've been exploring 100-meter running, elite 100-meter running, which is a particular passion of mine. And I did this video very recently in which I took a model that I found online, this model here from Jonas Marika, and adjusted and rebased all of these top performances for wind and altitude. And I did it because of this video here, the 969 video, where there was a lot of internet discussion. Well, I'm doing this video because I had some comments about some races that obviously real aficionados know about, and I'm really glad they pointed it out to me because it encouraged me to see if I could find unusual races and find the races they were talking about looking at the data. So I came up with this plot. I'll explain this to you for the people interested after we get into this outlying race here. Brussels, 5th September 2008. It's Bolt against Asafar. They're both at the peak of their powers. It's a great race and it's beautifully filmed. So as the athletes get ready on a wild and woolly night in Brussels, this is why we're here. We're looking at this outlier race because it's into a 1.3 meters per second headwind. It's cold, it's wet, it's horrible. And it is actually going to be Usain Bolt's second ever best run on a rebased, on an adjusted basis. Powell is also in the race. He's going to run 9.83 for a rebase of 9.76. Powell had just peaked in his powers. He didn't know it at the time, but he'd run his 9.72. And so, in fact, Bolt, this is his second best race, beating out the London 9.63, which had helping wind. And that 9.63 goes from an overall rank of second to fifth. And Johan Blake's 9.69 rebased to 9.7, probably just by the rounding up rules. It gets rebased because he was running it at altitude in Lucerne, becomes the joint second ranking, 9.7 with this one. So I've got to do a new plot where all the 9.7 show up and a new video. So I've gone ahead and done the step count here. We'll get into it, but then we're going to point out a couple of features that this video shows, and I really recommend you watch the whole thing. It shows a great relationship between Asafar and Bolt, and just what a magical time in sprinting this was.
Ja ensimmäisenä liikkeelle Powell saa erinomaisen lähdön. Sitten tulee Usain Bolt. Powell johtaa kun tullaan puolimatkaa. Sitten tulee Usain Bolt. Ja kumpi tämä juoksu vie? Powell. Bolt sen vie lopulta.
So he took 41.1 steps to Asafar's 45 steps on that race. And the thing that's really remarkable about it, because I'm going to go and compare it with his 9.69 when he won in 2008, that was a world record, and he leaned back. He took the same number of steps, but you could tell he really worked for this one. This was a huge effort in the conditions and with the pressure from Powell being put on him. So now, if we take a look at the 9.69 from the same year, let's take a look at this with the step count. You can just sort of see in that shot there how relaxed he was. It was 41. In my video, I said 41.25, roughly estimated. But just to show you how hard he worked, let's take a look at this shot from the same video, and then we'll close with a couple of comments on this. Just take a look at this. Look at his face. Look at the effort he's putting in here. At this point, Powell is ahead. He's got work to do. The wind is against him. He's really going the whole way. And now we cut over to Powell, who probably just can't believe I was being overtaken. And that was the final shot. So really you saw Bolt. Now I know when he was training, he was sick every day in training at this time of his career. I think in 2012 when Blake started to challenge him, that was definitely true. Look at the sweat on his brow there. That's how hard he worked in this race to get that. And it paid off because it's actually his second best ever performance under terrible conditions. Thanks very much for watching. Thank you so much for the comment, for putting me onto this. Because it's such a beautiful race. So for those really interested, I'm going to go on and explain that chart that I plotted to help find this race after that comment. And but for those who aren't, thanks very much. Please like and subscribe anyway. I hope you enjoyed the rest of it. Thank you. And now onto the charts for those interested. So if you're still here, thank you. You're a nutter. Please put a comment. Let me know that you are. I'm going to explain this chart so you can understand where it came from. So firstly, the x-axis down here, that is the standardized time. So that's the times that we're familiar with. So 958 is here. That's the 958. It appears here on the x-axis. On the y-axis, we've got the delta time, the amount that was adjusted due to the altitude and the wind, the conditions. Now, I've got this idea of whether the run was promoted, demoted, or unchanged, and that's based on the ranking of the run. And the reason I did that is these are the most elite sprinting times in the record books, and because of that, better times are going to have more favourable conditions in general. So the real test is, did the run get promoted or demoted? So here's a real obvious one. Here's Gatlin. Gatlin ran into a absolute hurricane, 3.5 meters per second against him. He ran 10.02. Rebasing all of that, he gets to 9.8. So that's a 9.8. He was 153 at the time, if my memory serves me well. Or perhaps he was 32. But that's how this chart works. So this chart does not demote or promote that run. This was the old rank number 1, the new rank number 1, and the same here. It's actually Bolt again. He's got the same one. Old rank 41, new rank 41. But as you look at some of these others, this here is Blake. That was the third best run of all time in terms of it being a 969. So of which there's several, but you see you had Bolt number 1, Bolt number 2, now that's number 5. So the idea is that plus, that means it was promoted. It was promoted because it went up through the ranks. And so that's a better way to do the ranking. So there you go, that's the chart explained. Here's where the data comes from. I'm still, wrangling this and working through it. There's a lot to do with this data. So if you can think of, if you're still watching this and you think of something you want me to do with it, please let me know. Thanks so much for watching this long. I appreciate it. Bye-bye.